Hi, today we're going to talk about the reclassification paperwork and scoring procedures for ELs. We're going to email you a copy of the completed form for you to look over and point out some of the pages for you to briefly kind of look over and the rubrics that you're going to be using. And that will give you some time to think of any questions that you might have for us. After that, we will send out some fillable forms, the fillable rubrics for you to complete online and send back to us. The language use inventory scoring to exit from the program works like this. They took their access test. We'll get those assessment scores hopefully back in June. If they scored high enough, a 4.5 or higher, they will get points assigned. You will fill out two rubrics for them. One is listening, speaking, and reading, and the other one is writing. We fill out the exact same rubrics. So then we'll take those scores and we put it all together. And if those points equal 10.5 or higher, the student can be reclassified. Students that have IEPs are handled a little bit differently. They have to be in the program for 4 continuous years. They cannot grow on the access test more than 10% over a 3-year time span. And then the school-based team, which includes like the teacher, the ELD specialist, the special education teacher, and admin, have to agree that reclassifying them is okay based on their language proficiency evidence, and that language is not a factor in anything that's happening with them. Examples of one of the two rubrics. I put an example of the listening, speaking, and reading rubric here for you to look at. There's also a writing one. You're going to be filling these both out, as I said. They have to be filled out only for language usage and understanding. So if you have a student that has executive functioning skills that are lacking, or maybe their math computation is not there and they're not doing well with fact fluency, things like that, those are not language based. If you have a student that doesn't understand vocabulary, when they're writing, they're mixing up pronouns, they're not using endings correctly, they're mixing up their subject verb tenses, things like that. Those are what we're looking for. So please keep that in mind when you're filling these forms out. Now, the procedure, like I said, we're going to send them to you via email most likely. You're going to fill in the blocks that aren't completed by us. We're going to try to fill in the name, their ID, the content area. So if you could fill in the date and the name of yourself. The blocks might be green at this point. Once the basic information is filled in, you're going to move to the scoring. On each rubric, there's going to be blocks at the end of the lines. That's where you're just going to put the point value in. So you can just pick one of them that you think is best and put the point value in. You do not have to total the points at the bottom. If you're unsure what score to give, you can do half points or drop back to the lower score. We'd rather be more cautionary and keep students in the program an extra year than exit them and have them become unsuccessful in the classroom. So the top one, say for listening, if you are teetering between the moderate and the high, you could do a 0.4 or you could drop back to the 0.3. When this is completed, both the rubrics per child, send them back to the ELD specialist. And then, like I said, we'll take both rubrics, yours and ours combined. If the student earned points for their access test, they'll earn those there. You'll see them to the left. We add all of them up. And if they get a 10.5 or above, they can be reclassified as an exit year student. And then we will monitor them for 2 years. And we also fill out the bottom, which says recommended or not recommended. There are a few times that students were not recommended to move on due to vocabulary issues. It doesn't happen often because the test is so difficult to take that even native speakers probably would not pass it. If you have any questions, please let us know. If you have any other questions after we meet together, please reach out to us. We'll be glad to help. And thank you very much for supporting all of the English language learners in your classrooms.